Hi again, everybody. This is Chris Conklin with the Chanute channel, and I'm back to you again with what's happening in Chanute. Coming up in April, there's a big event. It's actually a multi-county event. So this is something that you might want to be aware of, especially if you're looking for a job, you want to change jobs, or it's just that time to be out there seeking. Even if you're an employer, you might want to pay attention to this. So here to help me explain what's going on is a representative from the Southeast Kansas Works. And thank you for coming in and talking to us about it. Now this event is on April 14th, right?
Yes.
Okay, and it will be at the Chanute Rec Center in the gymnasium?
Yes, it will.
Okay, and this is something that you do annually, or tell us a little bit more about the program.
Okay. Well, we try to have job fairs as often as we can. Last year we had one in Iola, but it's a way for job seekers and employers to visit with each other because there's so many online applications now. It's hard to know where your application is. So if you get that chance to come in and visit with an employer, the HR people that do the hiring, it's a really good way to kind of see what they're doing and what kind of openings they have and how to apply for those positions.
Now, will there be any opportunities for attendees to actually get interviews at that event?
We will have an interview room set up, so if an employer finds somebody they'd like to interview, they can take them to that room and interview them.
So the people that come looking for work or just get curious, they need to be, what's the phrase, dressed to impress?
Dress for success.
Just for success. I knew it was in there someplace like that.
That's so very important. We really encourage people to dress up. If you're nice jeans, even a nice button-down shirt would be great if you're applying for maybe a construction job. If you're applying for an office job, you want to wear office attire. So very important. If you have trouble finding that, come see one of us. We'll be glad to see if we can't help you out with some interview clothes.
Sure.
Okay?
And even if they know that they want to look for a specific job, with all the vendors that are going to be there, it's possible they say, I never thought about that. Maybe I'll look into that as well.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of what we're doing is we're going to have a list of all the vendors that are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be able to look at that. And what I encourage everyone to do is to Google the companies that you want to look for.
Okay.
Okay? So know what you want to talk to them about.
In other words, have them do their homework.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so important. And if you find a company that's going to be at the job fair that you really want to visit with and you're really interested in going to work for, Google them and get that resume meshed towards their job description. I want everybody to bring several copies of their resume, but if you have a company that stands out and you really want to make an impression, mesh that resume with that job description that they have open.
It never hurts to spread them around.
That's right. That's right. And that's another thing. We really want everybody to bring a resume. The Kansas Works bus will be there, as well as the Veterans bus. So we'll have programs set up out in the bus where they can go make copies or even make a resume.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
okay.
So,
now you said the Kansas Work Bus?
Mm-hmm.
Now, where is that bus coming from?
From Topeka.
Topeka, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a state
Yes.
level bus, okay.
And they travel all over to job fairs, and it's just, there's 7 or 8 computers in the bus where we can have people go out, and they have a Kansas Works, Southeast Kansas Works rep that will work with people on their resumes or make copies for them or whatever they need to do. They need to go out and apply for a job online with one of the employers they just visited with. They can go in and do that in the bus.
So you'll have computers and internet in the bus itself?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty good. Okay, now, we mentioned multi-county. So what are the counties that will be sending representatives for this event?
Well, the chamber offices in Allen, Neosho, Labette have all joined together to put this on with Kansas Works and the CRDA director out of Neosho County. So far, with the 40, I have about 40 signed up already. We're hoping to have 50
Wow.
employers there. That's including schools as well. But we are hoping, all the surrounding areas like Neosho, Allen, Woodson, Labette County. I've had some contact me from Montgomery County
I
wanting
was
to
going to ask you
attend.
about Montgomery, and as because they're in such a turmoil with that right now, if they
Right.
would be participating.
Well, and like I said, we've opened it up to anybody that wants to come. We don't want to turn anybody down if they're looking for help because, like I said, job fairs are such a great way to go in and talk to that person face to face. So.
Well, it's a good networking opportunity too. It's just like you never know who you're going to meet. You could be talking to one employer who may not have a position for them, but they know somebody that person would be great for, and it can be referred to that
Right.
specific employer.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's all about networking and getting out there. I just I see so many people that come in and out of my office and they may have worked at the same job for 10 to 15 years and they have no clue how to apply for jobs nowadays.
So you have right now about 40 vendors signed up, employers that are going to come to the event. What is the capacity, or how many are you really wanting to be there?
We'd like to see at least 50, but we're not going to turn anybody down.
Right.
We have extra rooms available. We can put people in and, move job seekers towards that room. So we're really excited about the outcome already. It's just been out, and we still have about 5 weeks to go, and so I know we're going to at least reach our 50 goal. So.
Yeah. Now, are you getting good response from all types of employers, from a full spectrum, high school graduates to college graduates?
Yes, we are. We have that information posted everywhere. A lot of people are really excited about it and starting to work on their resumes already.
Okay. Now, I think it's important to talk about resumes a little bit. What format or what are employers looking for now in their resume? I remember, when I, 10, 15 years ago, when I was submitting resumes, there was a certain type of requirement or a certain type of fashion that the employers would look at, and if it didn't meet that format, they wouldn't look at it. Is that still applicable today? Is there a new format, or what are the suggestions for those that want to put a resume together?
Well, there's several types of resumes you can do. I work for Southeast Kansas Works, of course, and on Kansas Works, we have a resume builder. It does not cost you anything. It can go in and you just answer the questions, select the skills that you have done, and it will build a resume for you.
And I think that is probably the most challenging part, is people don't know where to start.
It is.
Whether they, okay, I can put my name, or how much personal information should I put on the resume, the objective, those types of things, where they may or may not understand exactly what is the best to put in those positions.
Yeah, it's important to have, of course, your full name, your contact information, email address, and it's very important, and what I try to get across to job seekers is read the job that you're applying for. Read that job description. You want to mesh your resume with that job description. So I encourage people, print it out, highlight everything you've done, and then do your resume, or change your resume up a bit each time you apply. And then make sure, look at it. If you were the employer, would this resume jump out at you?
Would you hire yourself?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I encourage people to change that up and not just turn in a generic resume all the time,
Right. Now, speaking of the older candidates that will be looking for work, or those that are coming back into the workforce, how far back do you recommend that they go, and should they leave certain things out? I know before, sometimes if you were applying for a certain position, you would kind of taper it back, especially like the education levels and things like that.
Right.
What do you recommend on that today?
I recommend going back at least 7 years on
7.
a resume. And, if you have some experience maybe that you had prior to that, you could put that under qualifications. And then an employer could bring that up with you in an interview. Okay.
And then all the specific skills that they have.
Absolutely.
That's probably real important, the real life skill that they can put to work right away.
Right.
There's a difference between a recent graduate that's got the book knowledge smarts and then somebody that's got real world skills.
Yes.
So a combination of both of that could be very beneficial.
Yes, it can. And a resume says a lot. Sometimes that's your only way in. So
Mhm.
you want to make it stand out. You know, if they have questions, I'm always there to help. We have people in each office with Kansas Works in Independence, Pittsburgh, Chanute, and Paola, and Emporia that can help anybody that's looking for work. So if they have questions, they can start their resume on kansasworks.com or any other site that will allow them to build a resume. We can go over and look it over and give them some advice on that as well.
So now if they go to your website, kansasworks.com, the jobs that they will find there, are they primarily for Southeast Kansas, or do they branch out a little farther? What can they expect on that?
Well, with Kansas Works, southeastkansasworks.com, you can go in and you can search a radius. So if you're looking for Chanute, you can do a 50-mile radius. You can search anywhere in Kansas that you want to look. So it's really a neat tool, and they've kind of changed the system a little bit in the last month or so, and I'm kind of learning it as well, but I'm finding it to be a little more user-friendly as far as looking for work. So I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be a lot easier for job seekers to look for the position that they are. You can narrow that down instead of having to go through all the jobs. It's also got a tool where you can look at other job banks, and you can pull up Indeed, Monster.com, all the other job boards onto Kansas Works. So that's really nice. You don't have to go all over the internet looking for work.
I was going to ask you about Monster and see if that was still a viable opportunity or recommended source, as large as it is or has been. I know they had problems when they first started, 10, 15 years ago, but you don't really hear too much about Monster anymore. I was wondering what they're doing now.
I really don't know too much about Monster.com, but I encourage anybody that's looking for work to get a resume on Indeed, Monster.com, Kansas Works, get that resume out there. I know with Kansas Works, employers that have approved accounts through Kansas Works actually have access to look at resumes online. Of course, it's the job seeker's job to look for work, but it's always nice when you have an employer call you up because they saw your resume online as well.
Or a job hunter. The people that actually hunt jobs for you. That's where your skills are very important, because sites like Monster that are nationwide, they might just put in a keyword, and if it hits your resume, then they can look it over. But if you have a skill that they're looking for and it's not on your resume, then it won't kick in and you might lose an opportunity.
Right. And that's why it's very important to mesh that resume with the jobs that you're looking for and the skills that you have. It's just so important to get your education. Kansas Works offers the Kansas Work Ready certificate, and I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a fantastic tool as well. It doesn't cost anybody. Kansas Works covers the cost of that. We do make them go through a practice test that they can do from their own home. And then the Work Ready certificate is a 3-hour test.
What about updating existing resumes? Maybe somebody's got one that they used 5 years ago and now they want to just take a change of pace. They're looking for different work, or they're just needing work again.
Well, they can go in again on kansasworks.com. It's easy to update it there. You just go into edit selection, so it's so easy. Enter that last job they had, update all their work information, and maybe look at what career they want to go into, and then they can put a cover letter with that resume, kind of explaining what they want to do.
Right.
So we have, at Kansas Works, we have some fantastic job search workbooks, and I would be glad to share those with anybody looking for work that is trying to maybe come up with a resume and a cover letter. It's just kind of individually, kind of what you want to do, seeing where they want to go, and helping them with that.
Now, do you have samples that they can say, "Oh, this is what it looks like," and then they can read it and say, "Oh, okay, now I know what to put in it now." Those types of things.
Yes, we do, and these books are fantastic. Every time I look at them, I learn something new.
Yeah.
I've been doing this a long time, and I see the changes that come each year, and so, like I said, some people are just lost, and it's very scary. So, just getting that extra tool to have some, something to look at to give you that visual and get that going.
Sure.
And having somebody that can help you. And we have so many people around the area, even at the college, that will be glad to help anybody.
And they can just go into the college at your office anytime?
I am located in the cave at Neosho County Community College. And again, I'm with Southeast Kansas Works. I do travel 2 days a week, so I do ask that they call. Or they can come by if they live here in town. It's not going to be a big deal, but it's very frustrating if you can't find anybody there. So
Right.
if they would call me at 620-431-2820, extension 634, I'd be glad to set up an appointment with them.
Okay. And is there a Facebook, email? We mentioned the website already that they can go to?
Kansas Works does have a Facebook page. It's handled out of the Independence office. They keep it up to date. We'll have all the job fair information on there, and all the employers that will be attending will be added. So kind of watch that. If they need to contact anybody, they can actually email me at sellis@kansasworks.com. And
Okay.
Kansas is spelled out. I'm usually real quick about answering emails, so if I'm not in the office, I can still get back with them through email.
Okay. Good. Now, paper that resumes are printed on. It used to be a big deal that resumes were printed on certain types of paper, card stocks, thickness, those types of things. Is that still applicable, or is just regular copy paper now okay?
Well, I think it's your preference. I think regular copy paper is fine, just because you don't, maybe if you don't have a job, you don't have the money to buy that kind of paper. So I would just say, especially since a lot of the resumes now, you just upload to that employer account. So I think copy paper is just fine. Now, if you have the special paper and you already have it on hand, but I would not say go out and purchase any for that.
Yeah. Okay. And some important things not to put on the resume, like a photograph of yourself.
Right.
Or additional personal information, about you're married, you have 3 kids, or you're divorced, things like that. Those are the things that you want to lay out, correct? Are there any others? Well,
I try to encourage people, don't use the word I in a resume, okay? What an employer wants is a quick reference guide on what your skills are. So keep it simple. Not too little, but not too much. I try to 2-page max.
2-page, okay.
Prefer 1. But if you've had a few jobs and you've traveled around, sometimes it's hard to get that 7 years on 1 page. So try to keep it at 2-page max. Again, preferably 1. Look at it. Again, would you hire yourself? Think about what you have on there. If you're not sure, bring it to one of us and we can look it over for you. Okay?
Now, the vendors, I'm sure they're going to be all different types. Some people will be going back into the workforce for benefits, but not all of employers offer benefits. Maybe it's a self-employed type of a position or a freelance position and things like that. What options do the job seekers have with that?
As far as the benefits?
Yeah, I mean, if they're specifically looking, if they're going into the workforce because they need medical benefits or they need certain types of benefits, how would they go about approaching that without it coming across that I don't care what kind of job it is, I just need medical insurance?
It's usually when there's a job posted on Kansas Works or Monster or Indeed, it's going to list if it has benefits, but an employer is going to visit with you, especially at a job fair. The employers are probably going to explain to you what they offer as far as benefits and things like that. And I know insurance is a big deal now, and a lot of people need that, and you have to have that. So you might look at the companies that do offer that and talk to those companies.
Sure.
It's all about what you can do for them.
Yeah.
So it's really important to remember that and not go right up to a table and say, well, how much do you pay an hour?
Well, and that was another thing I was going to ask you is that it used to be a deadly sin is you never talk about money initially. That's usually, depending upon the job that you're going for, that's usually discussed after the second or third meeting with the employer.
Yes.
So if don't go in looking for a job that pays only such and such. Now, I know a lot of the the vendors that coming through from previous years, they'll have, you know, displays around their booth that actually cover a lot of those things. They'll tell you, you know, starting at $10 to $15. They'll list all of their different types of benefits, a little bit more about the company, and then of course flexibility is the key. You know, the more flexible that a job seeker is, the more opportunities are going to come available to them. If you cannot relocate, that's probably something that you want to make sure that is identified, because if it's a larger company, maybe they want you to go to Wichita or Joplin or Kansas City or something like that. Do you know of any of those kind of factors for this particular job fair that's coming up in April?
I don't know of any right now. Now, you know, we will have employers there from, like I said, Labette County. So that would be a little bit of drive if you have Neosho County residents, but we have a lot of people that do that.
Right.
Because if you own a home in this area, it's, you know, you want to keep your home. It's just, you know, you got to make sure if you do not want to commute, then you want to make sure that you apply for the companies that are in your area.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just kind of, like I said, once we have the list out of all the employers that are going to be there, you can highlight the ones you want to visit with. So we're going to pull in job seekers from all the surrounding areas and people that want to relocate to this area. So I'm really excited about that. I've gotten a lot of calls. People have seen it already. So I guess if you're willing to travel, I see a lot of that. People are willing to travel, and then about 10 years later, they come in and they go, I don't want to travel anymore.
They get tired,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, so, you know, you really got to think about that and then look at those companies. Now, a lot of the companies that are going to be there have sales positions. Of course, those are going to travel. So just think about what job you want to do and, you know, where you want to do that at.
And above all, be honest.
Absolutely.
That's the worst thing that you can do is, because the employer's going to ask you, do you have transportation? Is it readily available to you? And then you say yes. And they call you and say, okay, we need you to come in. Oh, I don't have a ride. Well, then that's going to be a problem.
Well, and what I encourage people is, you know, if you don't have transportation and you have a job or you're looking for a job, look for a job that's close to where you live. Have a backup plan. Always have a backup plan, whether it be for transportation, childcare,
Sure.
whatever. Have that backup plan. It's very important to be at work. At work. If you get a new job, and you need to be there.
That's it.
So,
Yeah. I know sometimes it's a catch-22. You know, you can't hire a babysitter or buy a vehicle unless you have a job, and you can't get a job unless you have a babysitter and a vehicle. So sometimes it takes an enormous amount of flexibility and just that right combination
Right.
Of things to do. But, you know, basically, you're not going to discourage anybody from going out. I mean, it's something that, you know, people should at least get out there and look and see what's out there, see what's available.
Yes, it's so important because you're going to, like I said, network with other job seekers. Even standing behind somebody and they're talking to an employer, you're going to get a lot of ideas just from how they interact with each other, and you're going to learn something. Again, even how to dress, you know. Again, I so encourage people don't wear T-shirts. You know, dress for the job, dress for success.
At least jeans and a collared shirt.
Absolutely. No flip-flops.
Shorts, tank top,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, and so the job fair we had last year was fantastic. We had, I think, over 180 people in and out in Iola. It was great. Everybody was dressed up. The Kansas Works bus was there. And so I'm really hoping for that kind of turnout this year, even more.
Yeah, well, I think this year is going to be pretty dynamic, especially considering the economic impact that is coming, and future employers that are going to be looking for a lot of people. So they might be here just kind of getting a pool of resumes just to start going through that process.
Yes.
So, okay, anything else you'd like to add real quick?
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, I just really want to encourage employers to sign up if they'd like. Again, there's no cost for this.
Mhm.
We will be providing lunch for the employers that come in. And anybody that's looking for work, or you know anybody looking for work, get them here,
There you go.
okay?
All right. Okay, well, on April 14th, that's the day that you're going to remember, and it's from 2 to 4.
10 to 2.
10 to 2, I know that there were 2 was in there someplace. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you got nothing going on, come out, check it out. You never know what might happen. You don't like the people you're working for, send them or come in yourself. So thank you for coming in and joining us, and we look forward to April 14th and seeing everybody there. And for the Chanute channel, I'm Chris Conklin.